Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt in the latest Mission Impossible film. So today, let's rank all 8 of the Mission Impossible movies from worst to best. Leave your list down below. How would you rank all 8 of the Mission Impossible films? This is such a thrilling franchise, one that I really didn't get invested into until Ghost Protocol came out, but this is such an action-packed, well-crafted franchise, and this is a very hard ranking because most of them are really good films. There are only a couple ones that I thought were okay, but for the most part, these are all classic action movies. Coming in last place, Mission Impossible 2. Although this film is in last place, I still enjoy Mission Impossible 2, but I do think it's the one that is the least memorable. There is the classic John Woo style. This is style over substance, and you have his flair just very apparent within this movie. But from the stunts, they look really great. The opening sequence with him rock climbing is so thrilling, but there isn't much within this plot that I found to be memorable compared to other entries in this franchise. Even the first film has some iconic moments. There weren't moments that really stood out to me within this film. And the villain too, I thought was kind of just average at best. Thandie Newton's also great in here as well. She has some great chemistry with Tom Cruise. It's a fun action film, but when you look at everything else that has come out after this movie, they really amped up the action set pieces, and this film just isn't as memorable as those movies. Coming in 7th place, Mission Impossible. The first film that started it all is less of an action movie and more of a spy film. There's a lot of dialogue between characters, a lot of more situational thrilling moments. The iconic scene with him dangling down from the ceiling, not trying to sweat, get into the computer, and he drops the knife. That is iconic for all the right reasons. I love that this is more of a simple spy thriller. It isn't reliant on all of those big action scenes. They are there and they're pretty intense throughout, but this is a film that's more dedicated to the character developments, the dialogue between characters, relationships that develop along the way. It's a really fun film. But much like the other films that are on this list, there's so much more action and intensity throughout. But this is a solid film. I really did appreciate how grounded it is and how simple this movie is. It's very enjoyable. Coming in 6th place, Mission Impossible 3. Philip Seymour Hoffman is one of the best villains in the Mission Impossible franchise, and I love J.J. Abrams directing this movie. He gives his distinct style to this movie, very different compared to Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation. Mission Impossible 1 has its own style, and I really respect that about Mission Impossible 3. There's a lot of emotional stakes within this film compared to other movies, and you really get to understand Ethan Hunt on a more deeper personal level within this film. And there are a lot of big action scenes that not only test his strength, but also how far he will go. Coming in 5th place, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. There are some great characters that join this film. Alec Baldwin, I really was impressed with the character that has to realize things about the IMF teams. Rebecca Ferguson was a great addition to this movie. I wish there was a little more of Jeremy Renner within this one because I really liked him in Ghost Protocol. There's some outstanding action scenes within this movie. The underwater sequence, the opera scene as well. They are very intense, and we start to see what in all of the really Mission Impossible films, they've had really big action scenes, but we see where, like Ghost Protocol, they start to have something really big, and then every single movie has to kind of one up that, and this is where we kind of start to have this increasingly bigger action scenes, and it's so intense within Rogue Nation. The villain is very intimidating and menacing throughout. The motorcycle sequence is intense as well, but I like that we were able to introduce new characters and start to look at what the IMF has been doing and how can we prevent bigger casualties and halt this team, but also realize how important their missions are and the reasoning for having this IMF. It really provides that deeper thought to the IMF. It really makes you look at back what he has done in the previous 4 films and those missions and how important they were to him and the world as well. We start to kind of have some more casualties, and you have to look at how can we step in, stop this IMF team, but also then persuade them that, hey, we're the good guys. We're really just trying to help out. And I really like that conversation within this movie. Coming in 4th place, Final Reckoning, the latest Mission Impossible film. Yes, at times it does move a little bit slow in the first 45 minutes, hour, but we really understand the stakes within this film. The threat is there. It's very important for Ethan Hunt and his IMF team to stop the artificial intelligence from taking over the world. Gabriel, continuing from Dead Reckoning, great villain, kind of cliche at times, but it has that emotional beat to it with some of the supporting cast. Some big action scenes in this movie, the submarine sequence, the plane sequence towards the end. It's all really great. There's a lot of time that we have to spend getting us caught up to speed. We've already seen Dead Reckoning. We already know what's going to happen within this movie, but there's a lot of clips from the previous movies. I love that connection between this movie and Mission Impossible 3 and Mission Impossible 1. It's a good film. It's a good finale if this is the last Mission Impossible movie. They ended it on a great note. They had some big action scenes. The emotional moments for Ethan Hunt. Tom Cruise, once again, is really great. Hayley Atwell, I love her within this movie. All around, it's a solid movie. It does start off a little bit slow, but once we get into the big action scenes, it definitely does deliver. Coming in 3rd place, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. This is where I really start to appreciate the franchise. This was the first Mission Impossible film I saw in theaters. At that point, I don't think I actually saw a Mission Impossible film. So I saw this in theaters, not seeing Mission Impossible 1, 2, or 3. And I was fine with all of that. Going back and rewatching it all, I really loved Jeremy Renner in this movie, and he was a great addition to the cast. There's some big action scenes with Tom Cruise on the side of the building. Still to this day, a very iconic Mission Impossible scene. And trying to get the codes with the diamonds and being on different floors was very intense and very anxious. I love that Brad Bird directed this film. He has a great eye for the action within this movie and developing the relationships. I have a very soft spot for Ghost Protocol. I think a lot of people really appreciate this movie, but it's certainly high up on my list. For it being the first Mission Impossible film I saw, I really like the characters, the chemistry between everybody. Coming in 2nd place, Dead Reckoning. This film runs a little bit on the longer side, but there is so much to really appreciate about this movie with all the new supporting cast members that joined the film, like Hayley Atwell. The train sequence at the end, very long, but still very intense. When you look at the plot for Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, this is their biggest mission. This is the one that has the most at stake, the one that Ethan Hunt is up against the clock with in this movie. And with this one and Final Reckoning, you just feel that urgency constantly flowing throughout these movies. There's some insane things that Tom Cruise did within this movie, and he really starts to just test himself throughout all these movies. But I really like Dead Reckoning and the plot within it involving the artificial intelligence and how many people are after it. I do think that Gabriel is more of a cliche, generic villain. We've seen better villains in the Mission Impossible franchise, but the action's there. It's intense as can be. It's longer, but you have this nice pace to it where not many moments do feel slow. But coming in 1st place, Fallout. I rewatched this film and I said, yep, this is the best Mission Impossible film. It has some of the best action, the best characters, new characters as well. And Henry Cavill stands as one of my favorite supporting cast members of the Mission Impossible films. I love the bathroom sequence where he just reloads his arms and then starts to fight once again. It's so amazing. He goes toe to toe with Ethan Hunt many times throughout this film. There's big reveals, there's big twists and turns that really just kind of keep you on the edge of your seat. The end big action scene with them chasing each other is very intense. And this is where you start to really dive deep into the government understands that we need to hold the IMF team accountable, and Ethan Hunt has to persuade people that let me do my job. I promise you I'm going to save the world again. Just let me be. And many people are against him. Hand-to-hand combat scenes, big action set pieces, it all works. It's all very intense. But I really honestly think that Henry Cavill really propels this film as being the best one. It has a great connection to Rogue Nation and just overall building multiple storylines and continuing them throughout several films. So there you guys have it, all 8 Mission Impossible films ranked worst to best. How would you rank them? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy.